Although several engines have been around for a while, it is becoming increasingly clear that there are more efficient ways to provide the necessary power to transport our cars from point A to point B. Toyota believes that hydrogen power is the way to go and that its new engines will render electric vehicles obsolete. It's time to examine the development of Toyota's engines in more detail and discover some other factors that contribute to Toyota's position as a market leader. How does Toyota achieve this? Can Toyota's hydrogen-powered internal combustion engine replace electric vehicles? Let's find out. Toyota is pursuing a multifaceted strategy to being carbon neutral, and the Japanese automaker may find success with it. Toyota has been a pioneer in hybrid and plug-in hybrid automobiles since it introduced the groundbreaking Prius in 1997. These vehicles paved the way for the present electric vehicle boom. Despite its heritage, the Japanese company has been reluctant to embrace the all-electric trend head-on. The controversies surrounding Toyota's opposition to the switch to 100% electric is rather thought-provoking. The ban on gas-powered cars by 2035 has already been authorized by legislators in California, Australia, Canada, the European Union, and Australia. Automotive makers are under intense pressure to switch from gas to electric automobiles as efforts to reduce carbon emissions escalate. Toyota meanwhile publicly showed its disobedience by declining to ratify the COP26 agreement, which calls for the use of electric vehicles only by 2040. The corporation has purposefully dragged its feet on the issue, arguing that the rush to fully electric vehicles has left many important considerations out. Akio Toyoda, the former CEO of Toyota, received a lot of flack for taking an unpopular position. Jaguar, a British luxury automaker, said publicly that it would go entirely electric by 2025 back in February 2022. Cadillac and Volvo have also stated that they will only sell electric vehicles after 2030. Toyota is in the news for appearing and interested in a market where many rivals, including Honda, Ford, Mercedes, Volkswagen, and General Motors, intend to phase out gasoline-powered vehicles in favor of electric vehicles. Toyota has a reputation for being among the first to adopt new technologies, so taking this path surprised us. However, its justification is really compelling. Toyota worries that making the change over to all-electric vehicles won't be feasible anytime soon. Akio Toyoda said that EVs are just overhyped and that having too many of them could be dangerous. His opinion is that the high price of electric vehicles combined with the lack of a supporting infrastructure renders their widespread adoption impossible. Right now, electric vehicles (EVs) make up only about 1% of all cars in the world. So many of the problems they could cause are still hidden. But as more EVs hit the roads, we'll start seeing the real challenges, especially when it comes to electricity. By 2030, the US would need 40% more electricity to support the EV load, which means investing around $100 billion into the power system. Even though parts of Europe and Asia already have better grids due to higher EV demand, it still won't be enough if everyone switches to electric cars. Akio Toyoda, the head of Toyota, doesn't fully support electric cars. Instead, he believes hydrogen-powered engines are the better solution. He even said this new engine could wipe out the EV market. He's concerned about the short driving range of EVs, the pollution from making and throwing away batteries, and the lack of charging stations. He also points out that there isn't enough electricity to power all EVs, and since most electricity still comes from fossil fuels, using more EVs might just move pollution from the tailpipe to the power plant. Akio Toyoda believes carbon is the real problem, not combustion engines. He argues that EV growth is uneven. Some places, like Europe and China, are moving fast, but the US is slower, and regions like Africa have almost no EV infrastructure. This shows that the world isn't ready for a full switch to electric vehicles. Toyota thinks going fully electric could leave many of their customers behind. In 2021, Toyota sold over 10.5 million vehicles in more than 200 countries, making it the top global car maker. Many of those sales were in developing countries with weak charging networks. By 2035, these places still won't be ready for EVs. Also, EVs are very expensive. They're a bit cheaper now because of government help, but it's unclear how long that will last. Without those financial incentives, most people won't want to pay so much for an electric car. The corporation thinks that switching to a mixed engine is more practical than going entirely electric. They refer to it as a balanced approach, suggesting hybrid vehicles. Toyota is actively pursuing the development of hydrogen-powered vehicles. Because of this, Toyota's hydrogen strategy, the promotion of hydrogen-powered vehicles as a zero-emission substitute for gasoline and diesel-powered autos, is now being done by internal combustion engines. ICE to business is developing a new internal combustion engine that burns hydrogen and might destroy the electric vehicles market. Lithium-ion batteries power electric vehicles. It is clear from the name alone that lithium is a key component used in the creation of the batteries. Lithium, regrettably, is not one of those naturally occurring metals in great abundance. When electric vehicles begin to be produced in large quantities, the Toyota team predicts a looming lithium shortage. Given its limited quantity, they are worried about where it will be sourced. Killing two birds with one stone is how Toyota describes its suggested solution to this issue. Instead of producing larger batteries for electric-only vehicles, they advise producing smaller batteries for hybrid automobiles. One way that this plan will handle the lithium shortage is by using more batteries with limited lithium. Hybrid automobiles, on the other hand, will emit fewer emissions than conventional cars. How the world will function after only electric vehicles are on the roads has not yet been determined, but Toyota clarifies, to anticipate. Going all electric will put a burden on the world's metal resources used to create batteries. In addition to lithium, there will be an increase in demand for nickel and manganese, two additional essential metals used in the production of batteries. The cost of batteries may be affected, which may therefore have an impact on the price of cars. Toyota believes that relying on government incentives which may end at any time is highly dangerous. Only a small portion of new cars sold are all-electric, leaving room for alternative types of vehicles to enter the market. Toyota has chosen this route. Let's examine the hydrogen combustion engine in more detail to discover why Toyota officials believe it may eventually render electric vehicles obsolete. Let's introduce the Corolla Cross H2 concept. The Toyota Corolla Cross H2 concept employs a brand new hydrogen ICE internal combustion engine prototype vehicle. The powerful 1.6-liter three-cylinder turbocharged engine that powers the GR Corolla and GR Yaris has been adapted to run on hydrogen, the highly flammable hydrogen technology that Toyota learned with its FCV fuel cell electric vehicle. The Mirai first needs to be stored in thick armored fuel tanks, stronger connecting rods, harder valves and valve seats, and fuel injectors made for gas rather than liquid are added to the engine. The Cross H2 concept can accommodate 5 passengers and their belongings, much like a regular Corolla. In other thrilling news for auto enthusiasts everywhere, Toyota and Yamaha Motor have teamed up to create a V8 engine that runs on hydrogen. The 5.0-liter V8, which Yamaha stated would be based on the one used by the Lexus RC Coupe, will have adjustments to its cylinder heads and fuel injectors, among other things. In a recent release, Yamaha claims that it will generate 398 pound-feet of torque at 3,600 revolutions per minute and 455 horsepower at 6,800 revolutions per minute. Even though it has a little less power than the base gasoline V8, it is still fairly acceptable. The 8-in-1 top-mounted exhaust manifold, which Yamaha claims produces a distinct high-frequency sound, must be the most amazing aspect of the hydrogen V8. You have to admit that while it may not be the most exciting part of your day, filling up your gas-powered internal combustion engine vehicle is not a difficult process. Because hydrogen is a gas rather than a liquid, filling up a car with it is just as simple and takes much less time to complete. If you've ever had a propane tank filled as opposed to being replaced with a new one, you know how quickly the procedure will go. In actuality, it takes the new Toyota Yaris to only 1.5 minutes to fill up completely with hydrogen, which is far quicker than it would take for a Toyota Camry to fill up with unleaded gasoline. On the other hand, diesel fuel has long been used in vehicles that must pull heavy loads, but in regions where the temperature drops into the negative double digits, they can freeze. Unleaded fuel, thankfully, can endure temperatures as low as -100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what can occur with some really chilly wind chill effects. Prior to starting to freeze up, lithium batteries can tolerate temperatures of up to -140 degrees Fahrenheit, though this can still happen sometimes. Because hydrogen can tolerate temperatures as low as -435 degrees Fahrenheit, it is the ideal choice for all cold climates. The same is true at the hot end of the spectrum. Hydrogen is far better at adapting to different climates than the other two possibilities that are now available. The materials used to make lithium batteries are difficult to produce. In reality, a lot of individuals believe that there would be a shortage of lithium and battery-grade nickel, which will make it difficult to create the lithium batteries used in electric vehicles. If hydrogen-powered engines are designed to their fullest capacity, this could prevent a significant delay in the transition to electric vehicles. One of the main issues with electric vehicles, automobiles and trucks in particular, is sound.